Hi everybody, I'm Charlie, and this is On Air, my Beatles collection. The other day I posted a video that featured prints, 12 by 12 prints of picture sleeves for 45s from around the world for the Beatles 27 number ones that were included in the album set 1. This is a box set that didn't have any records, it just featured the pictures. And at the end of that, I teased another box, and that was this one. This is completely different than the other one. I almost forgot that I had this. This was released in 2014. Yes, 2014. The other box was released in 2013, the one that I showed the other day. And this was to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the American tour of 1964. And as with the other box, 1,964 copies of this box were released. And I have, in this case, box number 1811. And there's where you would see that. So I'm going to read the contents to you first. It says this limited edition package contains replica facsimiles of the 1964, 65, and 66 Beatles U.S. Tour Books, a set of 9 replica Celtaeb Beatle buttons, as well as 25 ticket replicas from their first American tour in 1964, all bound in a beautiful collector box. To commemorate the historic first U.S. visit by the Beatles, this package will be limited to 1,964 numbered editions and available exclusively on Beatles.com. So this set includes 1 collectible button set, 1 commemorative ticket set, 1 1964 tour book, 1 1965 tour book, and 1 1966 tour book. And that's what all of that looks like in a picture. And I'm going to open up the box. And you can see it does mention the 50th anniversary down there. So the first thing I'll show you is there's this little plastic sleeve here, which I have not opened, and I'm not sure that I want to. But I will anyway, because it's resealable. This is the ticket replicas. So I'll show you the tickets. I actually got 2 of them there. I'm always amazed when I look at these and I see the prices. You could have sat on the main floor of the Las Vegas Convention Center for $4.40 and see the Beatles. So it just blows my mind. You know, if there was a group called the Beatles now, with the original Beatles, you'd probably pay $4,000 to sit on the Las Vegas Convention Center floor. And the other thing I thought was interesting on this particular one is that the show was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyway, some of these amaze me. Here you could go to the Seattle Center Coliseum on August 21st and see the Beatles for $3. And then August 22nd at the next day at Empire Stadium, Vancouver, $5.25. Hollywood Bowl, August 23rd, Sunday evening, 8 p.m., Beatles in concert, $4.50. This one is from Colorado, the Red Rocks Amphitheater near Denver. It's a radio station, KIMN, presents the Beatles in concert at 8:30, Wednesday night, August 26th. Here is Beatles at Cincinnati. This one is Forest Hills, New York. in Queens, New York. Here they are at the Atlantic City Convention Hall on August 30th. $2.75 at the Atlantic City Convention Hall. September 2nd at the Convention Hall in Philadelphia. $5.50 for that one. Wow, expensive. At the Indiana State Fair on September 3rd, $4. This says Milwaukee Arena on September 4th. Here we are at September 5th. Where is this? Not sure where this one is. International Amphitheater. I don't know what town that is. And this is September 6th at the Olympia Stadium. And I don't know. Not sure where that is either. If you know, tell me in the comments. This is Maple Leaf Gardens. I know where that is. That would be in Toronto, Canada. And then we have Forum. And I don't know where the Forum is either. Guess I should know more about the Beatles 1964 tour. Here is one in Jacksonville. Famously, the Jacksonville contract, the Beatles refused to sign it if they allowed segregation at the show. What was traditional in Jacksonville, even in the 1960s, was blacks over here, whites over there. And the Beatles refused to play this show if they didn't allow full integration. So they were famous for that. That's been talked about many times in recent years. Here they are at the Boston Garden on September 12th. Here they are at the Civic Center in Baltimore on September 13th. And now they are at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh on September 14th. Quite an extensive tour in terms of number of dates played. This is at the Public Auditorium in Cleveland on September 15th. You actually got their picture on that one. And they're at in New Orleans, or Nolans, as some people say here, on September 16th. And now they are in Kansas City at the Municipal Stadium. And Charles O. Finley is pleased to present for the enjoyment of Beatle fans in mid-America, the Beatles in person. Charles O. Finley also owned the Kansas City baseball team, the Kansas City Athletics. Later moved them to Oakland. They became the Oakland Athletics. But at this point in time, Charles O. Finley was the owner of that baseball team, and he was the producer of this concert in the Municipal Stadium in Kansas City. That's Kansas City, Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas, which is right across the border. That was on September 17th. And Feld Brothers Super Attractions, Inc., near my home in Florida, USA, there is a big Feld Brothers facility, and they were involved with the Barnum and Bailey Circus and other forms of entertainment. Apparently, they were involved with presenting the Beatles at the Dallas Memorial Auditorium on September 18th. So I have to go back and look, because on the first few, I didn't really say all the things that I just said, but some of the big ones were, February 11th, the Washington Coliseum. That was when they took the train down from the Ed Sullivan Show in New York and did the Washington Coliseum. Anyway, there's a lot of replica tickets here. I think that's pretty cool. And then these are what they call the Celtaeb, Beatles spelled backwards, Celtaeb buttons. So these are all pin back buttons. This in the middle is just like a sticker, but the buttons are orbiting that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 buttons. So there's one each for each of the Beatles. And then there's I'm a Beatles booster, I'm a Beatle bug, I'm for Beatles, I love the Beatles, and I'm a member of the Beatles fan club. The real prize in here, despite the fact that I thought all that stuff was cool, the real prize is the tour books. So the first one is, this is from the '64 tour. Got the With the Beatles / Meet the Beatles cover, so to speak, but with a purple hue. And then there's the Beatles on stage from the behind. And, you know, these books are, you know, really top-notch books. So, got lots of pictures. Great picture of John there. There you go, smoking a cigarette. John wearing his glasses. This is the center spread. Beatles in the studio. Here comes Paul. And a bunch more candid shots. This one is interesting that the TV in the picture has the Beatles on the TV. Anyway, there's George. And there you go. I always like this one. Paul looking passionate. George looking happy. Didn't always get a lot of George smiling. John with a fake beard. Another great picture of George. And finally, great picture of the Beatles, the whole band, and that's the back cover. So that's the '64 tour. Doesn't reference the year, but I know it's the '64 tour because I have this book. The '65 tour book's a little different. It's got a shiny cover. It's more of a laminated look. The back cover on that one. Of course, this picture was used several times. John. I remember seeing this in our book that we had in my house, because we also had the '65 book, and I thought my brother had done that scribble in the book with a marking pen, and then when I saw a reprint of the book, I'm like, oh, after all these years, I was blaming my brother for ruining it. Great picture of John. Here's some more great pictures. John with a teddy bear. Nice book. My sister was infatuated with Paul and loved these pages. Paul looking like his bad self in those pictures. He was a handsome guy, no doubt about it. This was the one she liked the most, understandably. These were great pictures of George. There's another really nice picture of George that goes across 2 pages. Notice there's nothing written in these. There's no commentary or anything written. There might be something just on the last page of this one. You've seen that picture of George before. That's been used. And here's Ringo smoking again. Ringo, stop that smoking. Showing off a couple of his rings in that picture. It was still a novelty in those days. And here's a 2-page spread of Ringo. It was probably taken in Miami or something. This is a great picture of the Beatle boots. And then this is the last page. And we do have some narrative there. So John Lennon was born in Liverpool, 9/10/1940. He sings, plays rhythm guitar and harmonica. He's a former art student, deadpan wit, and a songwriter, soon to produce a book of his writings, and so on. I'm not going to read them all to you. I'll put it up there so you can pause it if you want to read them. So that is the 65 tour book. And then this is the 66 tour book. And of course, this is the last tour the Beatles ever did. This is the back cover. We got USA in red, white, and blue on this one. Opens with a great picture of John. Another nice picture of John. A couple more great pictures of John. This is John being super cool. We all thought he was the coolest guy. There he is again. Couple more of John. Now we get Paul. The cute one, as they called him. Here's more of the cute one. There's a couple more. Paul. And here's the quiet one, George. And this has a little mini George signature there. Of course, not really a signature. A couple more of George. More. George. There's Ringo. Ringo's reading a 16 magazine about the Beatles. I have that magazine too. Got a lot of stuff. Here's another couple of pages of Ringo. And the last pages, all 4 Beatles, and all 4 Beatles again. And that's the 1966 tour book. So in the box, there's a piece of foam at the bottom. The books go in the reverse order that I took them out. On top of those go the buttons. I'll put the tickets back in the plastic sleeve after I finish the video, and I'll put the lid back on. And that is the American Tour 1964 box, commemorating the 50-year anniversary of the 64 tour. But it includes the tour books for all 3 years that the Beatles toured in the U.S. And again, this is the back cover with everything you just saw and everything you listed, and then there's the limited edition number. On the other box that I referred to in the previous video, referred to about the previous video, that was this box. Look for that video if you haven't seen it. That one features 12 by 12, the same size as the box, 12 by 12, nice prints of all these picture sleeves from around the world for the 27 songs included on the one album. There's no vinyl in here. This one, they show the limited edition number a different way. That's the number, and that's the 1964 is the total. And this is a little sticker that is not printed on there. It's just a little round sticker that they could put one on each record and obviously update the edition number, if you will. So that is my box set of the Beatles' 50th anniversary American tour 1964. I hope you enjoyed that. If you've never seen those tour books, now you know what they look like. Of course, these are repros. I have 64 and 65 originals. I do not have the 66 original, so this was actually the first time I had seen every page in that book. But anyway, it's an enjoyable thing to have. It came out in 2014. Yeah, you might find it on eBay or Etsy or someplace. I don't know what it would cost. I think it was, as I said, with the one box, I think this box was also probably about 50 bucks US when it came out. I don't really know what it would sell for now, but there's only 1,964 of each of these boxes. So they're a little hard to come by, and most of the people that have them want to keep them, like me. So I won't be selling mine anytime soon, but you might find somebody if you're really interested. You probably can find beat up copies of the actual tour books, or you can probably find some of the repro individually. You know, some people bought these kind of box sets and then they take them out and they sell the tour books individually. Sometimes they try to put them off as original too, but you got to be careful with that, particularly if you're going to spend a lot of money for a single tour book. But anyway, it's nice to have them here, even though they're repros. They're well done. They're high quality, heavy paper, you know, nice clean photographs and so on. So it was a worthwhile purchase. I really wanted to see those. I didn't really care so much about the buttons or even the tickets for that matter, but I wanted those tour books. And when I saw the back cover, which actually tells you what's in there, I pretty much said I want to have that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. And if you're not yet a subscriber, please hit that button too. If you have any comments or insights, or if I said something wrong and you want to correct me, or you have some additional information that I don't have. I also want to mention that I have a Facebook page with well over 5,000 members called My Beatles Collection. And you're welcome to come on over there. It is a private group, so you have to answer a few questions. And you have to promise not to sell things on there, because to me that is the single greatest source of people selling stuff that they're trying to swindle other people. They'll take your picture from your page and pretend that they own it, and they'll try to sell it, and they'll do a friends and family type transaction, and you'll pay the money and you'll never get the item because they don't even have the item. So I don't allow any selling, so that's one of the things you have to agree to come over to the Facebook page. But other than that, it's just simple rules about behavior and being nice, basically. So My Beatles Collection is that page. I do when I post these videos here on YouTube, I also usually post a link on my Facebook page so that people can easily find it. And I get an audience of 5,000 people that have the option to come over and watch some of the videos. And some of the videos have had 5,000 views. Most of them are in the hundreds. I'm just showing my collection. Really, everything I show on there is something that came out of my collection, or occasionally it's news. If there's a new release coming, I'll talk about that. If there's a rumor that needs to be addressed, that kind of thing, I'll also talk about those kind of things. But mostly the objective is one item at a time. I just do a show and tell, and in case somebody has somebody's seen the box and they don't really know what's in it, or they don't know whether it's high quality, or that kind of thing. So I'm trying to inform people of the detail level of what some of these collectibles are. I have a lot of vinyl, I have a lot of CDs, I have a lot of bootlegs. I have everything official. So I don't make any apologies about the bootlegs, because anything the Beatles put out with their name on it, I buy anyway. So they're not getting cheated out of anything from me. But anyway, that's the kind of stuff you'd find on the Facebook page. So if you're interested, stop over there. You know, search for My Beatles Collection. There may be more than one that's My Beatles Collection. So the one that's private and the one that has about 5,400 current members, that's the one that's mine. So, you know, you're welcome to join the party over there. And please, if you do, bring your collection into, you know, show pictures. You know, people are there to learn about other people's collections, but also, you know, to show off what they have or ask questions about what they have. They're just not allowed to sell anything. You can ask the group what do they think something's worth, but you know, no direct sales are allowed on there. So anyway, stop over there if you'd like. I would love to have more members over there. And if you have friends that haven't seen this page and you want to tell them about it, have them come in here, and we'll try to get the population going up on this side as well. We're close to 1,000 now. I've only been doing this for less than a year. So, you know, we're approaching 1,000 subscribers here. And I try to post something at least every couple of days on here. I post almost every day on Facebook, and other members on Facebook post stuff all the time. So there's a new post every single day on the Facebook page. And there's some interesting stuff that people have. The 5,000 plus members are all over the world. You know, you see a lot of stuff that you're not going to typically see out in the wild wherever you live, unless that person that showed the stuff is from where you live. So you're going to see a lot of stuff that you've never seen before or that you've only heard about. So it's, you know, it's a fun place to go. So anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you come back again not too far down the road. Thanks. Bye.